Coming to you live from the Now Media Newsroom.
Eby flexing again. Eby's he's getting a little. He's threatening an election if bill related to transmission line project fails to pass. He's got the Greens there pushing up against him, and he said he's willing to go to an election if Bill 31 related to the North Coast transmission line does not pass in the legislature. The Premier says he doesn't want an election, but is prepared to fight it out over the polls, over the non-negotiable bill. I think he wants an election, actually, because he's riding high in the polls because of the Conservative chaos. I mean, we had Jonathan Kay in. Jonathan Kay says, like, as bad as Canada is, like, BC is just like, you got Conservative Party in chaos and NDP in La La Land. But he said, speaking of that transmission line project, it's not a joke. It's the economic future of this province. Represents $50 billion in investment. John Rustad, who's, lots of people calling for him to resign, of course, says, let's go dance. Like, what is this? It's like a couple of cowboys.
That's like a weak leader, a leader who's threatened at home, loves nothing more than a good war. Because then they can get all the people rallied behind you and go disappear and fight someone else rather than among yourselves.
If John Rustad was to, I think that's the thing that would be scary for Eby. If Rustad resigns and you get somebody more into the center, like an Eleanor Sturco. It sounds like I'm plugging Eleanor Sturco, but I think both parties need fresh faces, both Eby as well. I mean, Jason Kenney...
It's funny you should say that, because obviously Eby's new on the block, isn't he? He's relatively just turned up, but he's already pretty unpopular.
Jason Kenney said John Horgan even called him a mud hutter, but I don't know. We can't go back to John Horgan and ask him that anymore. John Horgan was a more centrist kind of guy.
Well, yeah, but he did allow a lot of pretty mad things to go on, and he obviously was extraordinarily hostile to TMX, wasn't he? Which was not a very centrist thing to do.
He basically abdicated his responsibilities during COVID as well. He basically just gave the keys to the province to Dr. Bonnie Henry and just let them run the province. Yeah, just gave it to them. Anyway, I interviewed Jeff Moyse again, third time, the lawyer there on the Haida Nation ruling there, Haida Gwaii, formerly the Queen Charlotte Islands, and then what it means to people. Like that Richmond Town Hall the other day caused quite the stir, and people worried about their property rights. But it's a really good interview to go listen to, because we broke down the Haida Nation decision, and then also how it pertained to the Richmond decision, and then what British Columbians can look forward to. There's a lot of other claims in the courts right now too. So, and we can't know how many are in the courts. But even that Richmond decision, the Cowichan tribe was asking for, I think, 1,000 more acres, and they haven't given up on that either. So, like the actual claim, the initial claim was 1,800 acres, and I think they got about 800 of that. So,
yeah, it's a lot of it. It's an extremely complex situation, though, isn't it? Like quite a lot of it does relate to, and I believe that wasn't that also John Horgan's government that signed into law the UNDRIP thing?
That's the one that we talked a lot about UNDRIP, and BC is the only province to have this, and that, he says, is the dangerous piece of it, and that the change in government would get rid of UNDRIP and maybe take a lot of uncertainty out of it. And I think that's because it's legislation
that was put. It's only, that's why it's so much of a BC thing for numerous reasons. But they took that UN declaration and made it law, because otherwise it's just the usual sort of bollocks from the UN that you can pay attention to it if you want, or you can ignore it. But in BC, it's like it's the law of the land.
Yeah. So I think there may be an election pending here in British Columbia. So,
and maybe federally as well. That's all they're talking about on the with the budget.
We don't just report the news. We live here too. We're your neighbors, bringing you stories that matter to all of us. No government funding, no outside influence. Kelowna Now, local, independent. News you can trust.